Emotions at home. We all arrive in this world programmed differently where emotions are concerned. Each of us has different threshold for being provoked, activated, aroused, startled. Some of us experience feelings more intensely than others. We recover from emotional reactions at different speeds. But these individual differences don't determine whether we develop emotional skills. Research shows that even highly reactive kids who are raised in nurturing families can turn out just fine. There's the home where we grew up, where our emotional lives were formed. We are not born with emotional knowledge. We mostly respond to stimuli. We are hungry, we are cold, we are uncomfortable for the one reason or another, and so we react. Nature provides the responses to make sure we get the attention we need to survive infancy. Everything beyond that is learned in the nest. We carry those emotional patterns forward with us, the good and the bad, often replicating them. And in our new home, the cycle repeats, built on the emotional foundations of the one where we started out. Given this, what steps can we take to create healthy home environments, places where our children and the loved ones will feel supported, valued, treasured, understood, heard? Homes filled with patience and acceptance and humor and joy. Few parents today would argue with the idea that their children would do best if they're well loved. That wasn't always so. Early in the 20th century, the fields of child psychology and development were divided over how best to raise children, especially on the merits of strictness or leniency, discipline or tenderness. The president of the American Physiological Association, John B. Watson, warned in 1915 that too much love and comforting was dangerous for children and that their lives would be spoiled by coddling. What those parents miss is that a focus on emotional skills is about real, practical skills. Permission to feel doesn't mean obsessing over every time somebody is mean to us or ignore us. It's really just the opposite. Teaching the ability to get through those moments, to learn from them, and to continue to function normally. Emotion skills are the bulwark against an epidemic or anger, bullying, disengagement, anxiety, dread in this country, especially among young people. The clear aware the most persistent drags on our creativity, relationships, decisions, and health. Permission to feel strengthens. It's not always easy to face the truth about what we are and to reckon with our own and our children's emotional lives. But it is a whole lot better than the alternative, denial, overreacting, and so on. You teach your children to express their emotions by skillfully expressing yours. Conversely, if you are reluctant to express your feelings or do so unrestrainedly, and as few words are impossible, and that's what your children will learn to do when they grow up. This is why we adults need to be open to learning and practicing strategies in our own emotional lives before we can support our kids. Beliefs about feelings. Family researchers such as John Kahneman don't respond with the threats of discipline when their kids express their anger or sadness. Instead, they see strong feelings as an essential part of the healthy development. Parents who view emotions as harmful or disruptive are the ones who command their children to suck it up and see their kids' emotional expressions as manipulative. Those are the same parents who mask their own emotions and send implicit messages that feelings are unimportant. Even when we do acknowledge others' emotions, we have to be careful about how we do so. Boys and girls often receive different messages about emotions from parents, and these gender differences tend to increase with age. Most of us are unaware of how important vocabulary is to emotion skills. As we will see, using many different words implies valuable distinctions. That we are not always simply angry, but are sometimes annoyed, irritated, frustrated, disgusted, aggravated, and so on. If we can discern the difference, it suggests that we can understand it either. It's the difference between a rich emotional life and an impoverished one. Impoverished one. Your child will inherit the one you provided. In one study, researchers found that mothers who use more sophisticated language when talking about feelings and have children who were better at regulating their own emotions. Regulate the emotion. Okay. The author wrote, the ability to talk about one's own affective state is its most obvious important for regulating affect, and is a part enlist others as a source of aid or comfort. What that means, especially, is that in mothers and fathers use many words to describe emotions rather than just a few basic ones. The children will be better able to express their feelings to others. They will also be more empathetic. Knowing what emotions tell us is the first necessary part of the process. Anxiety is a signal that we feel something important is beyond our control. Fear or uneasiness can make us risk-averse. They can be a positive thing. It may steer us away from taking foolish chances. But if we are too risk-averse, as giving up the face of obstacles too easily, we'll never try anything, thereby guaranteeing failure. That's why we need to understand our emotions, be aware of how they influence our actions, and have strategies to regulate them. Becoming an emotion scientist will help us recognize the physical symptoms that sometimes accompany strong feelings. Suddenly, I'm feverish, and my heart is racing, or I'm feeling a cold ache in my stomach. All real sensations, sometimes emotional rather than physiological, sometimes not. When these symptoms present themselves, we don't always pause to ask, is there an emotion behind this? And what can I do about it? Or am I just dehydrated or hungry or tired and I need to drink more than some? Is something or just in a go to bed? An emotion scientist has the ability to pause, even at the most stressful moments, and ask, what am I reacting to? We can learn to identify and understand all our feelings, integral or incidental, and then respond in helpful, proportionate ways. Once we acquire emotion skills, but what exactly are they? In it, they asserted that the majority of life is actually influenced by emotion. We all have emotion skills, the authors wrote, but to varying degree. The ability to perceive accurately, appraise, and express emotion, the ability to access and or generate feelings when they facilitate thought, the ability to understand emotion and emotional knowledge, and the ability to regulate emotion to promote emotional and intellectual growth. That's a fine textbook definition. We should all possess those skills, but it's hard to infer what emotional intelligence looks like in practice from the definition alone. There are individual differences in how we process information of every type. Some of us are naturally better at math than others, while some of us excel at language-based tasks. But we all learn and improve in those areas. Similarly, some of us are more fluent and intuitive than others when it comes to emotional matters. But we can all learn and improve here too. I often ask people to describe an emotional intelligent person. Try it yourself now. What are the skills? Some people say empathy, which allows us to relate to what others are feeling. Empathy is about having a shared emotional experience. Empathy can help you connect with someone, but it won't necessarily help you to support a person in managing his or her difficult emotion or stop you from getting lost in someone else's shoes. That's where emotion skills come into play. Now that is what we commonly think of emotional stability. We tend to view a calm, poised demeanor as a sign of a spiritual, emotional wisdom. It denotes inner peace and harmony. People who are serene and together may possess great emotion skills, but the same may be true of those who are conspicuously neurotic. In fact, sometimes out of pure necessity, people who are high in neuroticism also demonstrate great emotion skills. They need them in order to regulate their own tumultuous inner lives. But neither stability nor neuroticism equals emotional intelligence. Grit, defined as perseverance and a passion for long-term goals, has become a popular psychological construct in recent years. Research shows that grit is associated with many important outcomes from academic achievement to income. But grit isn't an emotion skill. There are plenty of gritty people who struggle with regulating their emotions. Grit and emotional intelligence are not in a competition with each other, but rather work hand in hand to support people in achieving their goals. Here's how. On the path to success, gritty people, like myself, often fail to achieve certain goals. They get frustrated, disappointed, or overwhelmed, and receive negative feedback. Therefore, having a repertoire of emotion regulation strategies can help gritty people to overcome difficult emotions and obstacles that arise on the journey toward achieving long-term goals. And as we know, the right amount of persistence may lead to success, but too much can be counterproductive. Resilience also is mentioned as an emotion skill. According to the American Psychological Association, it is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, duress, or significant source of stress, such as family and relationship problems, serious health problems or workplace and financial stressors. Has revealed biological markers that differentiate how sensitivity children, referred to as RCHID, respond to environment change compared with how resilient children of the called dandelions react. Dandelion children may thrive in most any condition, whereas orchid children tend to be more fearful and overwhelmed in uncertain social situations. Whether an orchid or dandelion child, doesn't matter or worse, likely has to do with their low families, teachers, and appear to support their emotional development. If neglected, orchid children promptly wither. But if they are raised in supportive conditions, they not only survive but flourish compared with the dandelion children. Emotion skills are likely to antecedent to building resilience. Finally, emotion skills are not a constellation of traits such as confidence or charisma or popularity. It doesn't mean having a good personality, whatever that is it kindness or warmth or a high self-esteem. It is an optimism. Those may be desirable qualities that makes us appealing to the rest of the world. We may aspire to any or all of the above. But they are not emotion skills. But what are they? First, emotion skills must be acquired. Nobody is born with them, all in place and ready to work. Emotion skills amplify our strengths and help us through challenges. If I'm an extrovert and I need to shine, then I must learn to read my environment so I can see when I overwhelm others and tone myself down. If I'm introvert, my tendency to be quiet and subdued might overwhelm people at home, school, or workplace. So I will need to amp myself up at times so the world can see my enthusiasm. I asked my host what the colors meant. She said the green indicated I'm comfortable with receiving a hug. Yellow meant as people are hugging, and the red proclaimed stay away. I had done, which demonstrated the small correlation between emotional intelligence and IQ. A senior professor made little effort to hide this skepticism, as if the two qualities couldn't coexist within one person. There were so many prejudices, weaknesses, and contradictions encoded into the statement. It restores balance to our thought processes. It prevents emotions from having undue influence over our actions, and it helps us realize that we might be feeling a certain way for a reason. They are known by acronym RULER. The first skill, recognizing the occurrence of an emotion. By noticing a change in one's own thoughts, energy, or body, or in someone else's facial expression, body language, or voice. That's the first clue there's something important happening. The second skill, understanding, which means that we know the cause of emotions and see how they influence our thoughts and decisions. This helps us make better predictions about our own and others' behavior. The third skill, labeling, which refers to the making connection between emotional experience and the precise terms to describe it. People with a more mature feeling vocabulary can differentiate among related emotions such as pleased, happy, elated, and ecstatic. Label emotions accurately, increasing self-awareness, and help us to communicate emotions effectively, reducing misunderstanding in social interactions. The fourth skill, expressing, which means knowing how and when to display our emotions, depending on the setting, the people we are with, and the larger context. People who are skilled in this area understand the unspoken rules for emotional expression, also called display rules, often direct the best way to express what they feel and modify their behaviors accordingly. The fifth skill, regulating, which involves monitoring, tempering, and modifying emotional reactions in helpful ways in order to reach personal and professional goals. This doesn't mean ignoring inconvenient emotions, rather, it's learning to accept and deal with them. People with this skill employ strategies to manage their own emotions and help others with theirs. In the ruler framework, the first three skills, recognizing, understanding, and labeling, help us accurately identify and decode what we and others are feeling. Then the two remaining skills, expressing and regulating, tell us how we can manage these emotions to achieve desired outcomes. Our ultimate goal, your intelligence quotient, IQ, daily life requires emotion skills at every turn, yet provides a little reliable feedback on how well we are doing and if we are improving. We know for a fact that no matter how smart you are, your emotions will have an influence, positive or negative, on your rational thought processes. That's important. We've already explained the 5 key emotion skills, so let's try an experiment. A simple self-test you can take to measure your own. You will have to score yourself from 1, very unskilled, to 5, very skilled. On 5 statements that neatly sum up what it takes to be an emotion scientist.